And it's also an honor for me to introduce Dr. Chen, who last year was the 7th recipient of the Albert Szent-Gyorgyi Award with Dr. Yang. He came from Beijing as chairman of the selection committee to introduce the 2013 recipient. Dr. Chen.
Respected Mr. Franklin Celebrate, President of National Foundation for Cancer Research, respected Dr. Su Juanba, co-chair of the Szent-Gyorgyi Prize Selection Committee and CEO of the National Foundation for Cancer Research, dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Jiang Castellani for his wonderful remarks. I also want to thank Franklin and the NFCR for their tireless and unending commitment to cancer research. What they do is so important here in the United States and for us in China and beyond. It is with great pleasure that I stand here before you this year as chairman of the Albert Szent-Györgyi Prize Committee. I'm honored to be here with all of you, so many great minds in one room. Last year, I had the wonderful opportunity to share the stage with my mentor and the most close colleague, Dr. Zheng Yiwang, as a co-winner of the Albert Szent-Györgyi Prize. But immediately after the ceremony, I realized that this is not just an honor. This is also a responsibility, because that makes you work. According to the rules, you must serve as the chair of the selection committee of the next year's awardee. If you couldn't do that well, then you won't be a good winner. But thanks to the collective wisdom of the selection committee, I think we made the most appropriate decision. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all members of the selection committee. As Franklin mentioned earlier, this prize is one of the most important medical and scientific prizes in the world, not just for its growing list of who's who in cancer research who have won it, but more importantly, for what it represents. This prize represents hope. Hope in the continued fight against cancer. Hope for patients worldwide, and hope in a fight that knows no geographical boundaries and has no appreciation for whom this disease might strike next. So this year, it is with a great sense of humility and pride that I'm honored to present this year's prize to Dr. Alex Matter, a most outstanding scientist whose innovative research and scientific discovery has led us to a new stage of effectively treating and eventually curing cancer. Alex, we are really proud of you. And matter as well. Like we said in China, behind every successful man, there must be a great woman. Here, I'd like also to share a small story with you. Exactly 8 years ago, in Shanghai, I was invited to make a special commentary at the launching ceremony of the Chinese edition of a book entitled Magic Cancer Bullet: How an Orange Peel is Rewriting Medical History by Dr. Daniel Vasella, then CEO and President of Novartis, and Robert Slater. When I finished reading this lovely story, I was deeply moved by the dedication of people in the discovery and the development of Gleevec. Scientists, industry people, and also patients. In particular, the great contribution to the entire development process of Gleevec by Dr. Alex Matter, who was called as Mr. Bulldozer by his team members, as he always pushed them hard, was vividly recorded in this book. I'm not lobbying for this book, but to be honest, there are things that you don't read from just the scientific publications. So through this book, I knew how the revolutionary drug was able to come out. I also got to know Dr. Alex Matter virtually, the father of Gleevec. It was him and the team he was able to assemble in the context of an international collaboration that changed the lives of cancer patients and their families in every corner of the world, including the remote regions in China now, thanks to the translation of his research together with the recent healthcare reform. And also to mention about a sound price policy that we reached with the industry. Therefore, I think the public-private partnership is so important. Of course, I learned much more about Dr. Alex Matter through the process of recommendation, evaluation, and the selection of this year's Szent-Gyorgyi Prize. Dr. Alex Matter represents, perhaps better than anyone, in the ideals set out by Dr. Szent-Gyorgyi, an ideal that through continued focus on the very fundamental regimens of research, a cure will be found, as already mentioned by Frank. As one of Dr. Alex Matter's colleagues said to our committee, Dr. Matter is one of the most outstanding living scientists. His trailblazing research represents compelling proof for the conviction that drugs targeting specific cancer molecules, including protein tyrosine kinase, will be the standard therapy of the future. Dr. Alex Matter, unlike many of us here in this room, accomplished this feat not in an academic setting, but through industry research, much like that mentioned today by my friend John Castellani a few moments ago. This is a shining example of how important investments in academic and industry research are. Dr. Alex Matter had a vision he performed through pioneering research on small molecule inhibitors of kinases that can function as drivers in cancer. By focusing on the BCR-ABL kinase, a fusion protein generated by a cancer-specific chromosome translocation involving chromosomes 9 and 22, a hallmark of chronic myeloid leukemia found in over 95% of CML patients, Dr. Alex Matter and his team were able to identify potent inhibitors of this target. Convinced that he had uncovered a unique prospect, he and his team were successful at overcoming considerable corporate hurdles and placed their initial lead compounds into the clinic and eventually into the drug development pipeline. These efforts resulted in the drug we know as Gleevec in the year 2001. I think just after the phase 1. I hope that in the future, more and more drugs will be dealt by the regulatory agencies like this one. These efforts result in the drug we know as Gleevec. Since then, Gleevec has been shown to extend to many other cancers involving ABL, including gastrointestinal stromal tumors and cancers driven by PDFR mutations. So Dr. Alex Matter's work on Gleevec marked a dramatic change in cancer therapy. This was the first successful knowledge-based discovery of small molecule drug that targeted a cancer-specific protein, and as a result now, many call him the father of targeted therapies. With this said, I'm pleased to welcome my co-chair, Dr. Suzhuan Ba, to come and join me to present the award trophy to Dr. Alex Matter tonight. Dr. Alex Matter's vision, his passion, and his research are all to be commended. His leadership among his colleagues is evident by the remarks I have heard from those who have worked with him and those who nominated him. I'm honored to present Dr. Alex Matter. This will be the middle.